Hello and welcome to the Hockey Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. I'm your host, Ryan Gilbert. Joining me is the fresh cut Joel Meyer. How we doing today, Joel?
Yeah, fresh indeed. Got the haircut, of course. As the viewers can see, it's funny. I use an East Indian grocer. I use an East Indian chef, I guess, and then I have an East Indian barber. So I'm right in the hood, and it's funny every time I walk in there, they all look at me like, "Who the fuck is this gringo?" But anyway, yeah, they're good guys. They take the time with it, and it's fairly cheap. And yeah, it sure beats the hell out of Great Clips or whatever. But yeah, it was not a good start to my day because I woke up with a searing pain in my right butt cheek. I was like. Start the jokes, but it was a very bad cramp. Usually you have the cramps in the thighs, but this time I went right up my fucking hip, and that was a brutal start. Like I was cursing. The neighbor probably heard me like, fuck, what the fuck's going on? I still feel it a little bit. I was walking around with a limp like a girl being fucked all night. Oh man, it was not a good start to the day, but the rest of it was excellent. So yeah, how are you doing?
That's good. I get cramps like my hamstrings or my calf, the ones in like your feet or the toes, like the worst.
Like tree trunks for the legs, so I'm not surprised.
Exactly. Gotta get hydrated. Gotta get the potassium in there. But no, I'm doing good. Been good day here in Philadelphia. I'm off tomorrow, so enjoying some cold ones here. Last Flyers preseason game tomorrow. Likely going to that. Doing good here. Midweek, third show of the week. So let's get right into it here as we continue with the Atlantic. Make sure you are subscribed to the Hockey Gambling Podcast on YouTube. Like, comment, and subscribe there. You can see Joel's fresh haircut there. You can get in the chat. You can see all the comments. We appreciate all of those. Also, make sure you subscribe and leave us a 5-star rating and review on Apple and Spotify. Season's coming up. We got the first game on Friday, and the first games here in North America next Tuesday. So coming up quickly. Make sure you guys get caught up on all of our team previews. They're in the feed there as we close them out over here the next few episodes. Of course, make sure you support Hurricane Helene. Has been devastating to the people of Western North Carolina. SGPN is teaming up with a local charity, mountainprojects.org, to help give back. The biggest donation will get a guest spot on the CFB Pick Show and a ton of gear. Go to mountainprojects.org and hit flood support to help out today. Not much news since we recorded less than 24 hours ago, but of course, right after we recorded the Islanders preview today, Ilya Sorokin was on the ice taking shots, so maybe his injury isn't as bad as we thought.
No, I didn't think it was that bad. I mean, I feared it would be bad, but it seemed like it would be all right. So that's encouraging to hear. Regardless, yeah, like we heard about the surgery and all that, but it's a groin thing. It shouldn't take too long to recover from. And yeah, I was thinking about that earlier today, actually, because his backup for Varlamov has had multiple groin surgeries, and he struggled a bit. Like he's not quite the same goalie, but still he's quite capable in net and played like a starter last year. So the groin surgery isn't exactly a death sentence for a goalie. So hopefully,
I thought it was a back surgery, not groin surgery.
Oh, is it back? Oh, that's
back
worse.
Surgery. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, the back is fucked. He's fucked. Oh no.
Yeah, Simon Vasilevsky last year had the same thing, but it was back surgery. So that's a much bigger issue than groin.
Yeah. Back is a bitch. Okay. Well, that is discouraging. I thought it was groin for some reason. Well, hopefully he's all right. I'm sure he had a good Russian doctor with some good vodka voodoo over there. But yeah, prayers up.
Prayers up, indeed, for Sorokin. Yeah, and Swayman's still unsigned. I saw Boston claimed Yuri Patera from Vancouver, so Vancouver's not going to have him. Boston's going to have him, as they're still in a stalemate with Swayman. I guess we'll see what happens there. Probably
that's another deal between the Canucks and the Bruins, like an unofficial deal. Like they've been signing each other's free agents, right? Then Holman Zadorov, now Patera, and then the Canucks at Heinen and DeBrusk, and who's the other one? I can't think of them right now. So it's like it's official now. It's a 3-way trade.
Yeah, I mean, just going back and forth, Vancouver to Boston. So it's 2011 all over again, I guess. All right, let's just get right into the team previews here. We did the Sabres last night because they play on Fridays. We wanted to get them out of the way first. But next lowest team in the basement, or the team in the basement of the Atlantic Division last year, was the Montreal Canadiens. They're once again, I think they have the lowest point total here with 76.5.
Yes, the Montreal Canadiens last year, similar kind of story. They lost Kirby Dach right at the beginning. I think that might have been before the season. Lost him for the whole year, which was unfortunate. He was projected to be their second line center. So they automatically took a hit. Thankfully for them, Sean Monahan stepped up while he was with the team before being dealt to the Jets. He played pretty well, more like his days in his earlier days in Calgary anyway. And yeah, like this is a team that really tries hard. Like I love the coach Martin St. Louis. He gets the most out of the younger players. We saw a little bit of progress from Juraj Slafkovsky. We saw Lane Hudson come in at the end of the year. Looks like a stud. More on him later. Cole Caulfield, Nick Suzuki. I remember them talking before the season. They were saying that they were talking like they were planning like this is how we're going to be better. So I love to see that when guys are like getting knocked together off the ice and without being coached, just thinking about how to become better as a team. But yeah, ultimately, they exceeded their point total by quite a bit, actually. They were projected to be one of the worst teams. What they finished was 76 points. It's the goaltending was okay. They had Jake Allen for a bit. He was good before being dealt to the Devils. Sam Montembeault continues to be the guy. Just average goaltending. Not great, not terrible. But yeah, this is an offensive team, and they scored a lot of goals. But ultimately, you can't really grade it a success, but you can't grade it a failure either. It's one of those. Actually, I would say it's a success because they're showing growth as a young team. They're building towards something better, and yeah, that I think that would be a success, even though they didn't. And they still got a high draft pick too. So yeah, I quite like the season from the Canadiens.
Yeah, I agree. I think it definitely a success. Martin St. Louis going in there, showing some good stuff there. It wasn't like they had just one player carrying their offense. Sure, Suzuki 77 points, then Caulfield 65, Matheson 62, Slafkovsky in his age 19 season 50 points. Sean Monahan did well, and then they traded him, I think, for a first round pick because looking at this next year's draft, they have 2 first rounds, 2 second rounds, 3 third rounds, and 2 fourth rounds. So they're able to take advantage of the players that they had to trade, and they got good picks for them. Caden Primo stepped up a bit last year in net in 21 starts, 910 save percentage. Montembeault was okay in 40 starts, 903 save percentage. So encouraging signs there. And, just a young team getting better. They were expected to be a lot worse than 76 points last year. I'm seeing 71.5, which seems higher than I thought it was. Maybe that got bet up before the season. But yeah, this is a good young team that, might take a few more years, but I could see them taking a step forward this year. And for last season, I would call it a success. Like you can't compare them to playoff teams. Like as far as the rebuilding group was, like they're probably one of the better teams. They have the core there. They got another good young guy in the draft. So yeah, probably a B-ish for their last season.
Sounds about right. Yeah, I had over 70.5, so I don't think it was bet up too much, but yeah, it was in that range for sure. As for their offseason, I mean, they didn't really do anything. They drafted Ivan Demidov to placate the angry Habs fans who were mad about not drafting Michkov the year before. So they took a chance now on another Russian who apparently is like a hell of a character, a hell of a guy. Yeah, really fun-loving guy, I guess. And yeah, like he shows a lot of potential. He's already killing it in the KHL. And yeah, that's another piece for the future. We know that the Canadiens' depth is great in terms of their prospect pipeline, but yeah, in terms of free agency, they did fuck all. They did, of course, trade for Patrick Laine, which hasn't worked out so far because he happened to get hurt by one of those fucking Leafs. So unfortunately, he's going to be out for 2 to 3 months. But yeah, I mean, this offseason, you can't really grade it one way or the other. I mean, they still have a ton of cap space, so they're still building for the future. They still know that they're not there yet. They're not going with the Eyes plan, just signing a fuckload of washed up free agents. So yeah, they're taking it slow, right? They're doing it the right way, I think. The slow rebuild. There's even a fucking documentary about it now here in Canada, anyway. It's called The Rebuild. So yeah, I like what this team's doing. I think that Jeff Gorton and Ken Hughes, whatever his name is, the tandem there in the front office for the Canadiens are leading this team in the right direction. So overall, in this offseason, I mean, it's a B. I mean, they didn't do much, so you can't really give them a supreme grade. But I don't like, or I do like that they haven't gone all out for this year. Like, they're not ready to win the Stanley Cup. So until you're ready to win the Stanley Cup, I don't think that you should be spending money willy-nilly and draft picks and all that. So yeah, I think they're loaded for the future. So positive signs for the Habs.
Yeah, like you said, didn't really do much this offseason. Only real thing was, trading for Patrick Laine. I thought that was a good move to go out and get someone, buy him low. Maybe he likes it in Montreal. He sticks around. Maybe he likes it and you can trade him for another first-round pick at this deadline or next offseason. I really did like them getting Demidov for their sake. They missed out on Mishkov. The fans hated it. So now they got Demidov, who's going to come over in, I'm not sure what his contract is, but probably next year, 2 years. That's another good piece for them. David Reinbacher was looking like he was going to be good, but he's now out 5 to 6 months with knee surgery. So they've had some horrible luck this preseason with the injuries, Laine, Reinbacher. So still have most of their young core, but yeah, their offseason, not much, maybe a B. I mean, I did like the Laine trade. That's all they really did. That's all they really could do. So yeah, give it a solid B- again for the offseason.
Yeah, I forgot about the Reinbacher thing. That's a blow. I mean, I don't think that he was going to be a crucial figure this year, but still, like, he could have come in and done some business. He's a fifth overall pick a year ago, so he had some potential to break into the team. But still, that hurts for his development as well. So that sucks for him and for the Habs. So yeah, one day the Canadiens will stop getting injured, but hopefully it's after today.
Well, it's the preseason's fault. If you read everything, whatever everyone's saying, the preseason's too long, so the Canadiens are getting hurt.
I heard they want to extend the regular season as a.
I saw that. Yeah, they want to go to 84 games.
No, do not. It should be 72. 72 is the right number.
Yeah, so it should be fewer, if anything. Yeah, exactly.
I'm in the dark now. The clouds are coming out. Yeah, for the Canadiens this season, I think we see more of the same, but they continue to progress. Like these young guys, they have plenty of potential. I think we get a better year out of Slafkovsky as he continues to build into an NHL player. It's tougher for these bigger guys who are used to just running over the guys in their the junior leagues. Now that they're in the highest level, it's tougher for them to adjust than maybe the smaller skilled guys. But yeah, I think that he's growing into his body now. Like we saw the same thing from Tage Thompson a couple years ago. So I think we do see some more development from Juraj Slafkovsky. Of course, Cole Caulfield, Nick Suzuki, real leaders of the team. Caden Gooley, another step forward for him. He projects to be a number one D-man, I hope. Our Zach guy, he's in preseason. He's dealing shit out for all these guys hurting his teammates. Love to see that. And of course, Lane Hudson, who, he's kind of like a Quinn Hughes kind of player. Like that's his potential anyway. And he showed some of that last year at the end of the season with the Habs. And yeah, I think that he breaks into the team and gets on that first D-line pairing. But yeah, this is a team loaded with potential, and I think that they go over the 76.5 point total here. They do have 11-1 for the worst record. I mean, if they keep getting injured, maybe that can happen, but I wouldn't bet that. My favorite bet, of course, is the Martin St. Louis to win the Jack Adams at 30-1. I think that's a ridiculous price. For them to make the playoffs is like 10-1. So I much rather have the Jack Adams there. Like he's going to be like guaranteed a finalist at least if the Canadiens make the playoffs, because they're projected to be a bad team once again. And yeah, I really like this team going forward. One more thing, Kirby Dach, he had another near scare. Like somebody ran into him and kind of banged him up. So he escaped the worst of it though. So good to hear that. And yeah, like that's a massive upgrade, I think. Even on Sean Monahan, I think Kirby Dach has a a lot of potential as well. Like he has like he had a bad year with the Hawks, but other than that, he's been a really solid player with a lot of potential. Also great with the World Junior team, I think I remember. So yeah, I really like the Habs this year to go over 76.5 and 30-1 Martin St. Louis.
Yeah, their playoffs are between 5 and 7-1. So 30-1 for the Jack Adams is 6 times better than that. Definitely like that look. Probably my favorite Canadiens positive bet. I'm not betting them negatively. I can't see a world where they go worst record 11-1 unless Buffalo, Ottawa, and Detroit are all for real and all take a step forward at the same time and they're left in the basement. But I don't see a world where that really happens. Yeah, Kirby Dach.
Don't forget about the Sharks, the Ducks, the Blue Jackets. They all have to be better.
Exactly. And yeah, Dach last year had 2 assists in the first game against the Leafs, that crazy back and forth game there, and then got hurt 4 shifts into his second game against the Blackhawks, his former team there. So hopefully he's healthy there for the Canadiens. Looking at their top 6, Caulfield, Suzuki, Slafkovsky, Newhook, Dach, Armia, like that's decent. Matheson, Gooley, top pair. Hudson, Savard, second pair. They have a good top half of the lineup. Their bottom half, could use some help, but so could every rebuilding team. So yeah, I really like here the over 76.5. I don't know if any books have 80 plus points for alt team total. I'm just seeing 90 at 5-1. I would rather take playoffs or Jack Adams at that point because I think St. Louis is respected around the league during his playing days, be respected around the league during his coaching days. So that's my favorite bet, as I said, 30-1 for Jack Adams. If you can find that, I think it's like probably 25-1 elsewhere, but it's still pretty good there for Martin St. Louis if the Canadiens are able to make the playoffs, make some noise here. Good young team. Caulfield should take a step forward. I don't think he scored 30 goals yet. You could see that coming at 28 last year. Nick Suzuki's turned into a nice top line center. So they have the talent. They have a great top power play unit, especially if they get Hudson up there for Matheson. But Matheson's great up there with Slafkovsky, Suzuki, Caulfield, and Newhook himself. So yeah, I'm liking that there. Do you have any Hudson for Calder? I'm seeing 10-1 here, which seems kind of a bit low given the competition there.
You said 8-1?
10-1.
Yeah, 10-1. I think that's still.
I'm seeing most books have them at 6-1, and then Bet Rivers has them 10-1, kind of off.
Yeah, I have some 12-1, but also some 10-1. So yeah, I think that's my favorite bet there. I think that he is going to be a leader on this team, the real identity of this team, and we just got to hope that Michkov does not have a Bedard-like season. And I don't think that Celebrini is going to have quite the year that Bedard had either, and Will Smith, another guy up there. I mean, we're fighting here, but I'd rather take the longest shot among the 4 top dogs there. I think Michkov it should be the favorite though. That would be my 2 bets. If I just had to make 2, it'd be Michkov and Hudson. I think those are the likely 2 winners. Oh, one more thing. I maxed it out, so I don't know exactly the max limit. I can't see it, but the Martin St. Louis is 40-1 on Bet Online. It's like less than $100 though. So if you want to bet more than that, you can't.
Yeah, I mean 40-1 there is a pretty good. It's the best price on the board. The 30-1 is, I think, is the next best price. I saw 35-1 at DraftKings apparently still too. So that's worth looking at if you have some free bets or you have DraftKings there. Yeah, I was gonna say Michkov's got bet down a lot now. He's down as 225, 3-1, the best you can still get on him. He's picking up a lot of steam. And Macklin Celebrini, another player, got hurt in the preseason on Tuesday night. Just kind of looked like fell down a little bit. It looks like he should be okay, but something to monitor for Sharks fans and anyone betting the Calder there. All right, we are brought to you by Underdog. Underdog Pick'em has one of the biggest menus for all sports: NFL, college football, MLB, MMA, WNBA, NASCAR, and more, including hockey, of course. Their lobby is jam-packed with profit boosts. You can now use specials and boosts on all flexed entries. So sign up with promo code HGP to claim your special pick and first-time deposit offer up to $1,000 in bonus cash. UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code HGP. Okay, going to move up here a bit in the Atlantic, going from 76.5 points. We got 2 teams at 90.5 points. Going to start with the Detroit Red Wings up there.
Yes, the Red Wings were a team primed to make the playoffs last year. they were in a playoff spot for much of the season, and ultimately they fell apart towards the end of the year, which sucked because a lot of the other teams fell apart at the end of the year. So they just had to like maintain a 500 record. They would have got in because it was the fucking Capitals that came in out of nowhere because they just lost the fewest games there when everyone else was struggling. But yes, the Red Wings, they brought in some vets last year. They can keep having all this turnover. Moritz Seider had another good year, I thought. Lucas Raymond, he was okay. This was a season that the Red Wings were supposed to make the playoffs. I mean, they keep spending all this money in free agency, but they don't get rewarded for it with a playoff berth. And eventually, other teams are going to pass them, I think, because they're not as loaded with the draft stockpiles that other teams have. Like the Canadiens could easily clip them in the future, but still, they do have a lot of prospects yet. Like Marco Casper and the like. And still, like Dylan Larkin, though, as a number one center is not ideal. I don't think that he's ever going to translate into that. JT Compher, of course, he was okay. Probably better than he was with the Avalanche, but still not ideal as your number two center. Yeah, it was like this team overperformed. They were one of the top teams in terms of PDO, and a lot of that had to do with Alex Lyon having a great first half of the season. Struggled at the end of the season, but the unsustainable save percentage there, and their shooting percentage was off the charts as well. So I expect that to come down a bit, and it did towards the end of the year as well. Like I don't think this team is structured well. They give up a ton of opportunities. I know their expected goals for percentage is very bad in relative to their position in the standings. I don't like this team going forward. I did not like this team last season. I think they actually beat me in terms of the point total by a couple of points, unfortunately. It's a failure though, because they spend so much in free agency expecting to make the playoffs, and they had every opportunity because there's so many bad teams struggling at the end of the year. You have to give them a failure of a grade for 2022, 2020, 2023, 2024.
Yeah, I mean, just missed the playoffs last game of the season. I know the Flyers pulling their goalie after they were already eliminated, got the Caps in, got the Red Wings out. Last year you mentioned those expected goals for percentage numbers. They were kind of the Blues of the East. The Blues had the third worst despite having 92 points. Red Wings had the fourth worst despite having 91 points. Fourth lowest expected goals for per 60, seventh highest expected goals against per 60. So they don't really do anything well unless they have Alex Lyon standing on his head for them, which he's a good goalie. I like him, but 904 save percentage over the course of the year is about where he's at if you're going to start him for half the season. Reimer started a bit, Ville Husso as well. Dylan Larkin, he had potential, but now he's 27, 28, 69 points last year. Kind of seems like that's just what he is. And you look at the rest of their top scorers. Lucas Raymond, I like him as a top line winger. DeBrincat's kind of getting up there now. He's in the middle of his prime, 67 points. Shingasisbear was their fourth leading point scorer. He's gone now. And they signed Patrick Kane too, which when they signed him, we ripped them for it. It almost paid off with them going to the playoffs, but I still think that was a bad signing. He's back there again this year. We'll get into the offseason, but last year they did get over their point total. It was 85.5. I'm seeing here they got to 91, but still very much a failure of a season. And I don't think it's fair that Derek Lalonde's on the hot seat. It should be Steve Yzerman. Lalonde could only coach what team he has, and Yzerman's putting the team together. And it seems like he's getting a long leash due to his legacy in Detroit, as well as his legacy as Tampa's GM. But a lot of his moves are very, very confusing.
But you know how Steve Yzerman saves his job? By firing Derek Lalonde.
Yeah, exactly. Bringing it.
That's my favorite bet. My friend Shark and I, we talked about this yesterday. I think that the first coach fired, Bet Online's taking $100 in this, so I might actually get involved. They're only taking like 25 last year. I think I'm going to bet on Derek Lalonde to be the first coach fired at 8-1. I think that's a good bet because if this team has a slow start, Yzerman's got to fire away because he's not afraid to spend some money for the Detroit Red Wings. I think that's the best bet in that market. I can easily see that if they have a tough start. Plus, they're one of the Europe teams, right? And they play in October, November, something like that, in the middle of November, I think, in Finland, I want to say. But yeah, and we know about the Euro trip is the death knell for some coaches and like the death knell for teams. And I could easily see them having a tough start and going to Finland. Then they come back.
I don't. They're not. They were last year. They're not this year.
Oh, last year.
This year's Panther Stars, November 1st and 2nd.
Ah, okay, that sucks. That ruins some of my handicap. I thought it was the Red Wings this year. Okay.
Who are the best coaches out there besides Coach Q that's available?
All I think about is Coach Q. Not Bruce Boudreau, I'll tell you that much. Who else is there? There's that Ducks coach, Randy Carlisle.
Is he still out there?
Claude Julien.
Yeah, because I feel like he'd bring in
guys,
he'd bring in a veteran coach if he fires Lalonde, but I don't really know who's.
Yeah, so disregard everything I said.
Mike Yeo, maybe. I don't know. Gerard Gallant, is he somewhere?
Yeo has had his chance. Gerard Gallant, yeah, that's a decent one. So yeah, I still like that bet though, regardless of them not going to Europe this year. Anyway, on to the offseason. Once again, they had a prominent offseason here, getting Tarasenko in from the Florida Panthers, fresh off his Stanley Cup win. Jack Campbell, Cam Talbot, a couple of veteran goalies. So not as busy as the previous years, but still, these are high-profile names. We also lost David Perron. I think that's a significant loss. He provided a lot of scoring and veteran leadership. Jake Wallman, I know that. Didn't they trade him for like nothing?
They traded him and a second-round pick for nothing.
Yeah,
insanity.
Yeah, I didn't get that at all. I guess to make cap space for Senko, I don't know. I guess to sign some players.
Well, they needed cap space to lock up Sider, and I think Raymond got his extension.
Yeah, because
they could have traded or Justin Hall, Ben Chariot are making as much, if not more, than Jake Wallman. But
that's what happens when you go wild in free agency. Like I was saying, that's why I like what the Habs are doing, just sitting still, not spending too much now and locking up guys to multiple year contracts because now the Red Wings are paying for it. So yeah, it's fuck. I don't like their offseason. I mean, David Perron, he's still a quality player. I thought that's a wash. I think I like him more than Tarasenko, actually, because Tarasenko is very hit or miss. I know he's good in the playoffs for the Panthers, relatively good anyway, but I don't think that he gives quite the energy and consistency that David Perron does. And Jake Wallman, while he's not a great player, he's at least a significant depth piece at least, and they do not have a lot of good defensemen. So I don't know, like a C, I guess. I mean, at least they didn't go balls to the wall like usual and burn their future even more. But yeah, I don't like their offseason.
Yeah, I'm gonna worse now. I'm gonna give them a D, if not an F. They didn't go balls to the wall because they couldn't, because they had to lock up those two RFAs, and because they went balls to the wall the year before with horrible contracts. Gave them no move clauses to Comfer and Kopp, and Tarasenko has no moves clause now. Kane as well. Chariot and Hall both have modified no trade clauses. The Wallman trade was mind blowing. I don't know why they gave up a second round pick. I think I remember hearing after that, like someone say teams would have given up a second round pick for him because he played almost 20 minutes a night last year for them. Like their second or third best defenseman behind Sider and Chariot. He played 1946, 1 second less per game than Ben Chariot.
Call him Chariot? Ben Chariot.
Ben Chariot and Fabian Zetterlund. and Igor Shesterkin as well. Bring that one back. Just a bad offseason. I think Perron, was a good veteran in that room. Tarasenko, I think Tarasenko's a guy that should sign with a bad team and then get traded at the deadline to a contender. Like that just seems like his fit. Bringing in Jack Campbell
that's what happened.
Well, maybe that'll happen. Bringing in Jack Campbell, I guess he'll be the AHL goalie because they have Talbot, they have Husso still, they have Lyons, they have 4 goalies there at the very least. Maybe they carried 3 for parts of last year, maybe most of last year. But I think this is a bad offseason. They had to lock up their guys, but they could have done less. Also, could have done more. They could have just done nothing and been better as well if they kept the Wallman or whatever. But I'll give a D for Detroit here.
Sounds about right. Projecting forward, the Detroit Red Wings have a point total of 90.5. Ryan put the odds here. I don't know what's happening here. Plus 180 to make, minus 150 to miss. Okay, that's a good bet. You just bet both. And then 15 to 1 to win the Atlantic. No thanks. But I love the minus 150 to miss. Plus 180 to make, though. That's got to be a crazy offline number.
Yeah, that's a DraftKings. The next best is 150, and then there's 135, 130. So
okay. Well, I bet minus 150 to miss. I do not like this team. Honestly, I don't know why my rating has them at only 89.8 points. I think that they're worse than that. Because like we were saying, they didn't get any better in the offseason, and I think that they overperformed last season. So I gotta update my Red Wings number here. But anyway, I bet the under on their point total. I bet them to miss the playoffs. I don't think that they're going to be as good as last year, even though I don't think they were very good last year. Even their goaltending was kind of like overperforming. I know they had some struggles towards the end of the season, which is why they missed the playoffs ultimately. But still, I don't, Alex Lyon, these are journeymen mostly. Like Billy Husso's up and down as well. They paid a lot for him as well. I mean, talk about spending too much money. Just love the minus 150 miss here. We talked enough about this team. Like Dylan Larkin, not a true number one center. Moritz Seider is the only guy I rate, which is no surprise considering he's German. Ben Schrott, another guy they overpaid. Look at these guys, like Jeff Petrie, Eric Gustafsson, Olli Mata. These guys are fucking ancient. I mean, they have a decent power play, I guess, but they have some promising guys coming forward. Like Jonathan Berger, and I see he's projected to play on the fourth line there. He's a solid prospect, I'm pretty sure. And Patrick Kane, he had a pretty decent season as well. I still won't forgive him for tearing apart my Blackhawks. Had a big bet on them. he fucking tore that apart with like 8 seconds left in the game or something like that, and then scored the overtime winner. Bad memories there. But I don't like this team at all for 2024. So I love the under, and I love them to miss.
Yeah, completely agree there. Love the under. Minus 150 to miss. If you can get that. Minus 160. The worst is DraftKings has minus 220, which makes sense given that they have plus 180 to make. But minus 150 is at BetMGM, minus 160, 365, and then 164 at FanDuel. So there's plenty of books out there at minus 165 or shorter there. We've shit on the Red Wings enough here. I do want to shout out the Detroit Tigers for taking down the Houston Astros in the AL Wildcard Series. First time since 2016 that the Astros will not be in the ALCS. So shout out B-Dubs there. Shout out all the Tigers fans.
Do you know when the awards are handed out in baseball?
That's usually at the end of the season, like first week of November-ish, because you have Stephen Vogt, right?
Yep. Yeah, I made two bets. Him and some guy to win Cy Young or some shit. I don't even know what it was. But but Vogt 10 to 1, and then the other guy was like plus 650. I think he got hurt too. Ronald Acuna or something like that.
Ronald Acuna for MVP?
Yeah, that must have been it.
The Braves guy, he got hurt way early in the season. So you got your 10 to 1 though. That was a good.
Yeah, what are the odds of that happening? Do you think like Gorgon said he's done, but I don't know about that because I think people are saying that there's like a 3-manager race. I'm just asking you. I don't think the odds will be up.
I'm seeing that he's like minus 105 as of the latest article in like September.
So you can actually bet.
Matt Quatraro, the Kansas City Royals manager, might get it. He's minus 135 apparently, according to this article. Accurate as of September 25th. So he's in a 2-horse race there.
All right. Well, still a chance. It's a good bet anyway. Thanks to Ken Barkley.
Yeah, good bet there. Yeah, they retired Ken Barkley, right? He's the one that retired.
He stopped doing content, just focusing strictly on gambling. So we lost a good one there. Yeah.
All right. If you're looking for more good bets, make sure you check out Rhythm, SGPN's proud partner. Rhythm is the #1 AI-powered sports betting platform that helps provide bettors of all levels the ability to build custom predictive betting models in seconds and get predictions for betting on money lines, spreads, totals, and prop. You can build your own model, copy a model, or Rhythm will build one for you to give you predictions for every game and prop. Plenty of stats, research, and trend analysis as well to give you even more betting insights. Claim your 7-day free trial today by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM. And make sure you check out BetUS. We're brought to you by Bet with the best in the business, BetUS. BetUS has been around for more than 30 years. You can easily deposit using cryptocurrency and get lightning fast payouts. U.S. players are always welcome. Use our link to sign up and get a 125% deposit bonus on your first 3 deposits. Go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/betus. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/betus. Promo code SGPN. I'm looking at BetUS right now. They got some Russian KHL lines up there. So not many books have that. So make sure you check out their BetUS.
Good for them.
All right, going now up to the Senators here in Ottawa.
Yeah, this was another year where I backed the Senators to come through for me, and they did not. It was a tough season for the Senators. A lot of hype, a lot of potential. Much like the Sabres, they're like, sisters in terms of being hyped every year and continually disappointing. Like what happened this season? There was nothing special about this team. Like I think that their defensive structure was bad with like Chychrun. And I gotta pull up their lineup here. I'm gonna
Chychrun underperformed. Yeah,
Chychrun was bad, but I think it was more just like the structure of the team. I think that has to go down to coaching. Jake Sanderson, he didn't perform as well as we hoped. Thomas Chabot, Thomas Chabot missed some games, but also like they did kind of like the same thing, so they're redundant. And then like people just regressed. We also had the Shane Pinto thing. He missed half the year because of the gambling shit. Like he was supposed to be their second line center. He played well the second half of the season. If they had him for the whole year, maybe it would have been a different season. Like if they had some momentum going forward, maybe the coach wouldn't have been fired. Who was the coach? I'm so bad.
It was DJ Smith. Now it's
Smith.
Jack Martin.
Right. Yeah. One of my Jack Adams bets didn't come in. But yeah. Just a disappointing season. Like they just had all this hope. They're supposed to be this high flying offensive team, and then they tried to work on the goaltending with Corpusalo, bringing him in. He was not good at all. He did not fix their goaltending issues. Once again, not helped at all by the defensive course. Still a fine offensive team, I guess, but it's not enough to overcome the deficiency on defense and in goal. So definitely a disappointing season. This is a team that has a ton of talent yet, like a lot of young talent, so they still have potential going forward. But as of last year, they definitely disappointed because they're supposed to take the next step. And like we've been saying, like the East, that second wildcard spot was wide open. So if they could have just won a few more games earlier in the season, they would have been in the running to make a run at the end of the season. But no, it didn't happen. So yeah, it's just a failure of a season because this is a team that should be at least making the playoffs by now, considering what they've been investing in this team for a few years now.
Completely agree. Yeah, their point total was 91.5, only got 78 points, so 13 points under their line there. Not very good. I think the point you said where they had guys kind of that do the same thing. I think that was their issue with Chabot and Sanderson and those guys back there, and Chychrun as well. He kind of fit that mold too. So. We'll get to the offseason next, but I think getting rid of him is good. Shane Pinto, 27 points in half the year. So, yeah, if they had a 55-point center for half the year rather than, Josh Norris also missed half the year. He only played 50 games. So,
that's right.
Injuries weren't great for them last year. But, yeah, Kachuk, Stützle, Batherson, Giroux all had 64-plus points. Then a huge drop-off to Tarasenko, Chychrun, both at 41 points. So, very top heavy, and their top heavy isn't really elite talent. So, yeah, just a complete disappointment last year. Team save percentage of 888, Corpusalo 890, Forsberg 890. Mads Sogard played 5 starts, 859, goals against average 405 last year. So that was their issue. Complete failure last year. DJ Smith paid the price. Bad year for the Sens, and we were both backing them. So we both had egg on our face there.
Yeah, once again, shout out to Mac for beating me in the point total race where he took the Sabres, I took the Sens at even money. So I gave him a couple $100, whatever it was. Off season. I like the move, bringing in David Perron, like we were mentioning about the Red Wings, losing him there. He provides some leadership. Of course, he won a Stanley Cup. Another guy who won the Stanley Cup is Michael Amadio. So finally, maybe we have some more leadership there to go along with the Giroux, who hasn't won a Stanley Cup. Another big one was getting in Linus Ullmark. Maybe he can finally solve their goaltending issues. And yeah, Jonas Carpasala was not the guy. He only lasted 1 year in Ottawa. Jacob Tricker, and after all that chutzpah about bringing him in there, and he only lasted, what, a year and a half, and he was not great in Ottawa either. So no great loss losing him to the Capitals. They brought in someone else, I want to say, but I'm not seeing it here. But
you mentioned Perron?
I did mention Perron, Michael Amadio. There's somebody else, but anyway, it was an okay offseason. I like what they did, bringing in these vets here. Linus Ullmark, I think, is an upgrade on Jonas Carpasala, provided he could do what he did with Boston, which is a big if, because the Senators' defensive environment is nothing like the Boston defensive environment. Although, to be fair, Ullmark was actually pretty good with the Sabres for a lot of his time there, which is why the Boston Bruins brought him in there. But yeah, it's I mean, I get B-, I guess, because they did bring in some guys that could provide leadership. Linus Ullmark is an upgrade in goal. Jacob Trickern, I don't think, is a huge loss at this point, even though like a net loss in terms of what they invested to get him there. That's a huge disappointment. But in terms of this offseason, I don't think that's a bad thing. So yeah, I think a B- is. There's Mac in the chat. Let's go. Woo! Enjoy your money, bitch.
Yeah, you might be thinking about Nick Jensen, defenseman. They got him back in the Chychrun trade, so that's good. I really like this offseason for the Sens. Probably as close to an A as you can get, bringing in straight up Ullmark for Korpisalo. I know Ullmark only has 1 more year left on his deal, but if he can be as good in Ottawa as he was in Buffalo, let alone in Boston, that's going to be a huge upgrade for Ottawa, who, as I said, had a save percentage under .890 last year. Getting rid of Chychrun, I think it's going to help them. Bringing in Perron, bringing in Amadio, some veterans, like you said. And also, Carter Yakimchuk is leading the Senators in points in the preseason. They did not have plans for him to make the roster out of camp, but right now it looks like that's a distinct possibility for them. So that could be big for them if he does make the team out of camp. They'd also bring in Nick Cousins as a 4th-line guy who I think was voted as one of the most hated players in the league because he stirs
That's
shit
the
up.
one I was thinking of. Nick Cousins. Another one who won the Stanley Cup. Yes.
So he's a veteran who can provide some cowardly leadership, I guess. You can just turtle when after talking shit. Yeah, bringing in Ullmark was the huge thing. Once again, going for trying to solve the goalie situation with him. I think that's a good move. Getting rid of Chychrun's a good move. They got back Jensen, solid second, third pair guy, and a 3rd-round pick. So yeah, I think it was a good offseason for the Sens. I thought Yakimchuk may have been a bit of a reach, but so far, I mean, preseason you can't judge too much, but so far looking pretty good for him. So I'll give them a B+, A- here for the offseason.
Well, hopefully they get a successful grade going forward, because this team is in desperate need of making the playoffs, I think, considering the expectation, the talent, the young talent. Brady Tkachuk, people are saying like he wants to leave. I don't think that's true, but the rumors are flowing. But yeah, I think I have them slightly better than the Sabres, a little bit. Well, after I update my Red Wings total, a lot better than the Red Wings. Yeah, 90.7 is my point projection here, and in the market there, 90.5. So right on line there. Plus 110 to make, minus 130 to miss, 13 to 1 for the Atlantic. Again, no, thank you. Yeah, Travis Green is one of the favorites to win the Jack Adams, which makes sense. But what doesn't make sense is that Lindy Ruff is the Sabres have the same point total, but Lindy Ruff has way longer odds. Once again, I'm going to keep stressing this. Like, Lindy Ruff is the bet for the Jack Adams, because Travis Green should not be half the odds of Lindy Ruff, because they're the same thing. Anyway, I think they're about the same team as the Sabres now. I mean, maybe they get a little bit healthy this year. They don't have to deal with the Pinto gambling thing. So they have a 2nd-line center. Although he is projected to play on the 3rd line with Josh Norris in the 2nd spot and Tim Stützle playing 1st-line center. Mm-hmm. So that's interesting. David Perron, I think, is a big boost. So I haven't bet this team one way or the other. I've been disappointed by the Sens multiple seasons now. I'm not interested until I actually see what they're doing, because, yeah, they just keep getting things confused. I know Travis Green He doesn't have a great track record, but I think he's a decent coach. I think he might be better than DJ Smith. So a lot of it is just wait and see. That's my approach for the Sens this year. Just wait and see early on. If you see them making the right moves, then you could bet them. Like there's so many in-season markets these days. You could bet futures all season long. So that's what I'm going to do with the Sens. Maybe I'll bet them to win, not win the division, to go over their point total at least, make the playoffs, something like that. Maybe Jack Adams, that kind of thing. But right now I'm sitting fat and happy, not betting them because I don't want to lose any more money in this fucking team.
Yeah, I haven't really bet any team futures yet. I don't think I'm going to. But if I were to bet here on this end, I think make the playoffs. Plus 110 is out there. A few books have plus 125, which is a bit better. You can get missed playoffs minus 125. So no hold there if you like one either way. Our friends at BetUS have Travis Green 12-1 for the Jack Adams. I guess if they make the playoffs more than a wild card, he has a chance. But as Joel said, I don't really like those odds right now. Yeah, I need to see something out of the Senators team. I need to see Allmark, put up maybe an early shutout, early, 1 goal, 2 goal against games. See if Yakimchuk makes the team. See if, because like theoretically, Stützle, Norris, and Pinto down the middle should be a good 1-2-3 punch. But I don't know if I trust Perron and Batherson on the second line. I know Batherson, I think, had a good year last year. I'm not sure if I'm much of a believer in that. Yeah, he's probably a good player. Ridley Gregg on the third line like that, Amadio with the veteran presence there. Yeah, I think this Sens team will definitely be better than last year when they had 78 points. That'll be hard to do again, but I don't know if they got 13 points better. I don't know if Allmark makes them 13 points better there. So I kind of like the Sens this year. If I had to bet it, I would bet them to make the playoffs at least plus 110. But for now, like Joel just said, wait and see, and hopefully you can find a good price early on if they're looking pretty good.
Yeah, they're right in there with a bunch of teams clustered around that wild card spot in terms of the odds, like with the Red Wings, the Penguins, the Capitals, the Senators. The odds, I think, would suggest betting the under because if all those teams can't make it into one spot,
yeah.
So the minus 130 might have a bit of value, but I don't want to lose my guts betting against the Sens, and then they turn into the team I thought they were last year. So again, I'm just staying away.
Yeah. All right. Anything else on these 3 Atlantic Division kind of middle teams here?
No, I got nothing.
Okay. Have you looked at Friday's game yet in Prague?
I think there's some value on the Devils. Like, why are they like only minus 150 or something like that?
Minus 140 here at our friends at BetUS. Puck line plus 170. Over under is at 6.5 there.
I haven't calculated the odds yet myself, but I would project it like minus 170. So I love the Devils here. They're a much better team. Like they're projected to win at least 10 more points than the Sabres. So I don't know why on a neutral ice they're only minus 140. That doesn't make sense to me. They're a better team than the Sabres, no doubt. So yeah, if anything, I would bet the Devils now. I haven't done it myself, but that's the way I would go. Also kind of like the over. Of course, new coaches for both teams. We don't know exactly how they're going to play. I haven't paid attention to preseason. So we'll see about that. Speaking of preseason, there was something I was going to mention. What was it? The Kings actually are playing more offensively now. So maybe everything we said about the Kings turns out to be false, and they're actually implementing some offensive changes. So maybe they aren't playing the 2-1 or the 2-1-2, whatever the fuck they played last year. That stupid total structure.
The one, not the 1-2-2. That's the fucking or the 1-4. I don't know.
I don't know. It's hockey tactics.
One. I think it's the 1-3-1 is what they're playing.
Yeah,
1-3-1. 3 at the red line. Yeah, I think that.
Yeah. Anyway, it was turtle shit. But it sounds like they're opening things up. So I don't know if that's going to work because they don't seem to have the personnel to do so. So the Kings will be an interesting team to follow, especially without Doughty early on. But yeah, that's just one random note.
Yeah, I think I like the over too. Over 6.5. I'm seeing here at even money. I'm trying to find last year's opening games because I think they mostly went over. I know there were a few crazy games over there early on. So I would love the Devils, like you said, minus 140 in this one. Just a much better team than the Sabres. And then I would look to the over as well. Yeah, make sure you check out the Discord, sg.pn/Discord. We are not recording on Thursday night, so we'll have our picks in there. I'll try to put some player props in there. I might tweet some out as well, but Discord's place to be for picks if we don't give them out here on the podcast. You have anything else for this weekend? I think we can record. We're recording Friday night.
Yeah, I can do that.
Yeah, we got to finish the Atlantic out before next Tuesday. So
Indeed.
Yeah, we'll be back Friday. Joel might have some college football or whatever else is going on this weekend.
Well, we got to tout a little bit because we gave out Brady Oliveira 60-1 to win the most outstanding player. What was it, a month and a half ago in the CFL, and he's down to plus 140 pitches because he keeps running it in. He's finally getting the touchdowns. He's got the yards. The Winnipeg Blue Bombers are fucking killing it. We also gave that out, so they are now the second favorite to win. They are odds on to win the West. We got that plus 500 as well, or plus 250 actually. So let's go Bombers. Like, they've just been killing everyone. They're the real deal. Kind of like the Chiefs in the NFL. They just find a way to get it done when it matters. So let's go Bombers, baby.
There you go, CFL expert here, Joel Meyer. I remember looking at the most outstanding player odds. I had him up on the screen. I didn't bet it myself, but I'm regretting that now.
That's all good.
Hopefully, some listeners did. Yeah. All right, make sure you are.
Knox did.
Oh yeah, I'm sure he did. All right, make sure you subscribe to the Hockey Giving Podcast, Apple, Spotify, YouTube. Subscribe everywhere. It helps the show grow. We'll have more content coming to you as the season ramps up. If you're looking to get involved with the Hockey Giving Podcast, looking for some hosts, some social work, producers, anything behind the scenes, in front of the camera, reach out to us on Twitter at HockeySGPN or in the Discord, sg.pn/Discord. You can email us, hockeygivingpodcast@gmail.com, or you can reach out to me on Twitter. I am Ryan Gilbert. You can follow me on Twitter at rgilbertsop.
And I'm Joel Meyer. You'll find me looking for some cream to massage my poor, suffering, cramping butt cheek.
See ya.